Okay guys, I bet you can't wait to know the answer to this one. How can I be happier at work? So the inspiration for this video came from a conversation I was having last week. So I was speaking to someone who isn't particularly happy in their job, and they were wondering how they could make their job happier without having to quit or go into another career path. I offered 3 suggestions, which I'm going to cover in this video. So first of all is play to your strengths. You see, each of us as individuals have a unique set of abilities and capacities, and each individual in a team brings this unique set of skills into the workplace. Problem is that a lot of management and leadership don't utilize these strengths effectively, so people find they're square pegs forced into round holes. Now, if we can't rely on management and leadership to utilize your skills properly, then we have to take autonomy. So, what are your strengths? What are you good at? How can you bring these strengths into your work a little more? So for example, you might be an excellent communicator, able to deliver a message with passion and charisma. What you might want to do is look at your work and find out if there's any opportunities to give presentations, to do public speaking, networking, forming relationships. You see, when we are using our strengths, when we are fulfilling our potential, that is what makes us happy. So if you are in a job that you feel is challenging you, that is using the best of your potential, you will feel happier in that job. So that's suggestion number 1. If you want an analysis of what your strengths are, there's plenty of online tests out there. You can do the VIA strengths test, you can do the 16 personalities test. There's a whole host of psychometric analysis out there that you can do to find out what your strengths are if you don't know already, which, to be honest, I'm sure you have a good idea of what your strengths are. But moving on to that, related to that we have values. So what are your values? This is different from skills. Skills are things that you're good at. Values are things that you believe in. Your core essence of you as a person. So you might have values of kindness, of service. Try to find a way to express those values more in your work, or find aspects of your work that fit in more with those values. So if you're very much a kind, service-driven person, then you really want to be working with other people, don't you? You don't want to be stuck in a dark room doing some data analysis. No, you want to be out there giving to people, giving of yourself and giving service. How can you reorientate your work to fit more with your values? Again, it's taking the same profession, the same organization, but how can you tweak it to match your values further? And then the third aspect, and probably the most important, is there meaning in your work? Do you feel that you're doing something meaningful? This, I think, is the second biggest cause of people leaving jobs. The first biggest cause of people leaving jobs is not being appreciated. Second biggest cause is people feeling that they're not doing something meaningful. So, how can you reorientate your attention to find meaning in your work? We're not talking about going on a new career path, changing jobs. How do you find meaning in your existing work? We've got a study to demonstrate this. So, there was a cross-section done of hospital cleaners, and they measured the happiness level of these hospital cleaners. And naturally, they found a group at one end of the spectrum who were unhappy with their job, unhappy with their lives, and then there was a group at the other end of the spectrum who were happy with their job, were happy with their lives. Exact same profession, 2 different attitudes. What was the explanation? So over here, the unhappy cleaners tended to focus on the negative aspects of their job. They focused on the long hours, the shift work, the rolling up the sleeves and elbow grease of having to clean up some pretty disgusting stuff. But then this group focused on the positive aspects of their job. In particular, they focused on the wider meaning of what they were doing. The happy cleaners saw themselves as a vital cog in the hospital machine. They knew that they were keeping things hygienic, they were maintaining things so that people had a safe, clean environment in which to get better, in which to renew themselves and possibly even start their lives again. They found meaning in what they were doing. And that was the key difference between the hospital cleaners. Exact same job, two very different mindsets. All because one group was able to find meaning in what they were doing. So how can you find meaning in what you're doing? You might feel that you're doing some dull, monotonous job, but I assure you that somewhere along the line, there is some form of meaning. There's some higher purpose to what you are doing. That might even be in your own life. Maybe this is a job that you're working because you know that you have kids to support. That provides meaning. Maybe this is a job that you're doing because you know it's going to provide you a stepping stone to where you want to be. That provides meaning. Maybe you can find a way that in your job you are making the life of even one single person a little better. That provides meaning. So folks, if you can find the way to emphasize those three things in your work a little more, play to your strengths, have a value-based approach, and find meaning in your work, that is going to make you happier at work. So, which one of those three do you think was your biggest takeaways? Which one of those do you think you could implement in your work today, tomorrow, next week, in order to be a little happier at work? I look forward to sharing more with you in the next video. Until then, remember to love inwardly and shine